Hey everybody! So again, this is like day 2 of the Austin API Summit. I'm in Texas, in Austin, Texas. It's a beautiful day outside, sunny and warm, and the birds are chirping. It's really nice, and a lot of great speakers. And I'm actually joined by Kristof over here, who is the CEO of Pronovix.
Yeah, CEO co-founder.
Yeah, CEO and founder.
Yeah.
And he actually gave a great talk on developer portals. I actually met him in Berlin last year, and been a huge fan ever since. Had some great insights on API consumability and how do you make sure that you give the right audience the right consumer experience for your APIs. And so I thought it would be a great time to just chat with you, Kristof. So.
Sure. Thanks for having me.
Of course. And so tell me a little bit more about what brings you to Austin today, and the things you shared in your talk.
Cool. So, like when I heard that Nordic APIs was going to do an event in Austin, I thought let's be part of that, because I was at their event in Stockholm and I really loved it, and I thought it's probably a good thing to participate in and to help grow also here in US. So then there's one message that I'm currently really excited about and that I'm kind of to promote in the API space is this idea about the need for more content for internal APIs and for the developers behind the firewall. So in our work with customers working on developer portals, that was kind of like a really big surprise for us that we thought it was going to be mostly about marketing, and most sites still are about marketing. Most portals we do are like get to an MVP for a public API or something. But then the biggest projects, they're for large corps that need some really crazy requirements, doing role-based access control for specific niches inside of their organization, and they have got completely different problems. And that's something that I got really passionate about. I like finding people that have a big need and then trying to help them and to look for new problems that nobody's talking about yet. And I think this is a big problem.
And I think so. I mean, the majority of the APIs in the world are private APIs, like internal APIs, and at the end of the day, we're building APIs for developers. Some developer, be it internal, be it a partner developer or an external consumer. And at the end of the day, they need to consume that API. So it's actually a really big use case I think you bring up, because I consume APIs all the time.
Yeah.
And I face this issue sometimes as well. So what do you think would be the biggest challenge right now in the dev portal space? And you mentioned like internal APIs as well.
I think the biggest challenge is that so far there's no general understanding of what is really needed. Like when we started looking at this space, so we started as a Drupal agency. So we've been almost 12 years in the Drupal market, and it feels like either, so you have on one hand you have like the web agencies and they just treat this as a website project, and then on the other hand you have like the API companies that have built their business around an API and they've got their own internal team doing their dev portal, and they're UXing the crap out of their sites, and they do a lot of research, but it's all only about their site, and there's no general patterns that you can extract from that. So that's one of the things that we've been doing is looking at the space, trying to figure out what are the different types of content you need, kind of creating a common language for that, so that we can increase the understanding and come to a sort of shared understanding in the space about the different types of documentation that you need, the different types of users that you need to cater to, that it's not just purely about developers, it's also about business users, that marketing is important, even though that you should be generous and not manipulative. So there's a lot of understanding that needs to be built. Besides that, I think another big part is that a lot of the space, so most of the time what you see is that people that are building developer portals are API teams, so they're developers and they just want to build their own thing. So you get this, what you see a lot is these Franken sites where you've got a bunch of different tools that are cobbled together. There's no information architecture. It's just, you end up clicking on something, you're in some different space, and you don't know anymore how you got there or where you are exactly. And there's just a lack of maturity, I would say, in the space.
Yeah, and it's actually heartwarming to see that all these these practitioners come together in conferences from all over the world, just discussing their problems and how they solve them. And it's kind of you start noticing the patterns there, right? Like they're all trying to solve similar problems.
Yeah.
And it's good that these conferences actually help us get together as a community and help each other solve these problems as well. Yeah. So you're absolutely right that there is a lack of maturity in some of the spaces, but hopefully as we move forward in the future, this will get solved.
Yeah. I think there's already a lot happening. There's a lot changing. Mm-hmm. We're launching the Dev Portal Awards, which we hope is going to help with getting everybody on the same page about what matters and what's important for dev portals. Because right now, when you ask people what's a good developer portal, they'll say 3 names, and they're always the same names, even though that
is Stripe one of them?
Yeah, sure. Those they have got good experiences, but it feels a little bit like people are kind of stuck on this, and people are just repeating the names that they've heard other people say, and I just really wonder if this is still if these are still the most innovative companies in the space, and also there's a whole lot of different aspects to developer experience, and just having one single 3 top names, I don't think that works.
I agree.
In the banking industry, sandboxes are hugely are really important. Some other industries, it's not that important. So having these different aspects and giving proper attention to it, and then also recognizing and celebrating innovation, I think is important to help the ecosystem move forward.
I could not agree more with that. The Dev Portal Awards, when is that happening?
So we're about to launch the site. So we've announced it on our on API the Docs, the conference we organized. Last one was in Paris.
Okay.
The next one is going to be in November, normally together with DevRelCon.
Okay.
And there we're going to announce the awards. So we're going to start doing nominations in the next weeks.
Oh, that's awesome.
It might even be this or next week. I need to check with the team.
That's awesome.
And then we're going to have popular votes. We're going to have a jury vote, and I'm really excited to see what's going to come out.
I'm excited to see that as well. So final question is, any particular insights that you learned in this conference?
Interesting. I've been very busy with my own talk, which is maybe not ideal, but
it could be a conversation as well with some of the attendees.
Yeah, I think so. I've been doing a lot of thinking around patterns and pattern languages, and somehow it feels like this conference was the first time that I got really good resonance on this topic of internal developer portals. That's at this point my biggest takeaway. There was a lot of talks about products and APIs as products, but that's not new. That's something that we've seen before. But somewhere between those two at this point.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kristof. I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to just come and talk to me.
This is awesome.
Yeah, and I hope our viewers as well can get some great insights from this conversation. Anyways, thank you so much, and I hope to see you guys soon again.
Thank you.